It takes me back again to Meadowsdale, where sunlight's golden rays beam everywhere. My childhood joys again come back to me. My mother's face in fancy too I see. It was my mother taught me how to sing, and to that memory my heart will cling. I'm never sad and lone while on my way, as long as I can sing the Juliet. Though years have passed and gone, the Juliet, and though my heart is young, my head is gray, yet still the echoes ring, the Juliet, and dear old memories forever stay. My song can bring me visions full of light, and sweet as dreams throughout the darkest night. Of all that life can give, that song is best. I take it with me when I go to rest. And when at last my journey here is o'er, 'twill ring more joyfully than e'er before. For up to heaven I will take my lay. The angels too will sing the Juliet. The angels too will sing the Juliet.
A recording made by my guest, Marta Eggerth, made 4 years ago when she was 90 or so.
Yeah, then I was still young.
Yeah.
But you know, I will sing all this repertoire in May 3 and May 10 in the Neue Galerie. You know, this is the Café Sebarsky, 5th Avenue and 86th Street. A beautiful place, and I will sing all these beautiful old and young songs there.
Wow, so you will be performing there.
And I hope you can come.
I hope so, too.
I invite you here.
Thank you.
In front of witnesses.
That's Café Sebarsky at the Neue Galerie at 86th Street and 5th Avenue. There are several appearances and performances coming up on Marta Eggerth's schedule, and the details will be posted soon on the website patriamusic.com. That's Patria music.com. Some of those appearances include a discussion with Anne Midget, the critic, at the Jewish Association for Services for the Ages. That's 241 West 72nd Street on the second floor there. That's Sunday, March 18th at 1 in the afternoon. And there's a lot more. There are awards ceremonies and performances, and it's got a busier schedule than I have. I'm impressed. I'm David Garland here with Marta Eggerth, who has been kind enough to join me and share some of these recordings, which have been issued on a double CD set called My Life, My Song, covering her recordings from 1932 to 2002. And we've just been hearing some of the most recent recordings on that CD. And I'm hearing in these performances something that your fans have been remarking about, which is the feeling, the emotion. Apparently, although I haven't yet had a chance to hear you perform, the lovely voice is just one aspect of what gets communicated there from the stage, and primarily it's an emotional experience. And you have learned to give that the priority and learned how to deliver that emotion through your voice in all your years of singing?
Well, this is one thing one really cannot learn.
Do you feel that you've learned it, even if no one could teach you? Do you feel you have learned how to do it?
Either you feel it or you don't.
I see. Mm-hmm.
There is no way to learning such a thing. And not very long ago, I sang a concert, and a lady who is from somewhere totally different makeup than we are, and she terribly much cried during I sang. And she came then backstage, and I said, "But why did you cry? You couldn't even understand it." She said, "Yes, the words I couldn't understand at all, but I understood every word what you meant with your singing." And this is the main thing. And this, you either feel it, and I am not a sentimental person. No, I'm not at all, because reality is cruel, Reality is not sentimental. Life altogether is not very careful with you, It's life can be very hard. But I learned at a very early age that I profited from everything, whatever I went through, good and bad. And whatever I had, I put it in my soul. And when I sing something which reminds me of one or other thing, then this treasure box opens, and I put it in that song, whatever it is.
A beautiful idea. Marta Eggerth speaking with me here on WNYC. Your husband, Jan Kiepura,
yes,
a great tenor, a famous tenor, even before you met him.
Oh, yes. I met him when I was how old? I was 20-year-old, and he was 30.
I see.
And it was a very interesting thing. We went to a party much later, many years later, and there was a book, for guests to put in notes. And he wrote in that guest book, "Life is cruel, Jan Kiepura," and I could never understand it, because he was on the top of his career. He was young, he was beautiful, he was successful. The whole world screamed at him, bravo, and that he could write this. And I asked him once, "How come that you wrote this?" He said, "Bobochka," he called me Bochka, "I don't want to tell you. Why should I spoil our day?" And he never told me. Life is cruel. Well, sometimes it is cruel, yes. But we have to make the best of it, whatever it is. And that I also learned from him. And I have wonderful, wonderful, wonderful family, wonderful children. And this is the main thing,
We're going to hear the two of you sing together in a piece called the Neapolitan Duet by Lehar. And we're going to follow that recording of you and your husband, recording made in 1955, with a recording of you singing a song by Chopin with your son accompanying you at the piano.
Marjan Kiepura, yes.
So here is Marta Eggerth with husband and then son in a set of songs here on WNYC.
Nicht
Dann willst du nicht mehr klagen, liebe nur, ja liebe nur, oh frag und klage nicht und liebe nur du, es flüstert sich das Meer uns zu, nur du.
Geliebter, ich bin ja so glücklich mit dir alleine, fern von allen Menschen. Es ist wie ein Traum, ein Märchen.
Was hast du? Warum bist du traurig?
Nichts. Ich denke nur, dass alles so vergänglich ist und auch die Liebe.
Aber nicht unsere. Denk nicht daran. Sei glücklich.
Ja, ich will es sein mit dir. Warum hat jeder Frühling auch nur einen Mann? Warum geht denn die Liebe gar so schnell vorbei?
Mein Herz, du sollst mich fragen, liebe nur, dann willst du nicht mehr klagen, nur du. Es flüstert sich das Meer uns zu, nur du.
Mi do oczu zawiewa zwona, prawo i w lewo, ćmi naokoło, dumka na ustach wrząknie i skona. Niemo, och niemo, bo nie wesoło. Kochać i śpiewać miło mi błogo, w cudzie ty puście, ślimim jak w domu. Kochać, o kochać i nie ma kogo. Śpiewać, och śpiewać i nie ma komu.
There you have a couple of recordings that display a wonderful elegance to the singing. And Marta Eggerth's voice was heard in those recordings made in 1955 and in 2002. And in the piece by Lehar, the Neapolitan Duet, we heard the voice of Marta Eggerth's husband, Jan Kiepura. And what a voice he had. So virile at one moment and so delicate at another.
Yes.
Such a range of quality to it.
And at the end, he sings pianissimo,
Yes.
a high C.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
A beautiful job there. And then it was your son, Marjan Kiepura.
Marjan Kiepura. Yeah, I thought you were playing his mazurka. Pam-pam. Yeah, but it was the other number, but that's
Yes.
also, I love that number.
Yes,
what
I
you played,
I like the sort of thoughtful mood of the piece.
mood, yeah.
Yes. And you met your husband and married him in Vienna, is that correct?
No.
Oh.
I met my husband during we made a film together.
Okay.
And
Where was that?
that was in Berlin.
Okay.
And we got married in Poland.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and
You made several films together, is that right?
we made in Paris, yes, and we made also operetta in New York, The Merry Widow.
Yes.
And it was a very, very big success, and we played it over 2,000 times all over the world.
Over 2,000 performances.
Over 2,000 performances. Well, we played it in New York and all over the United States in English. And then we played it in Italy in Italian. And then in France in French. And in Vienna, in Germany, in German. So the only thing is, you see, the difference between opera and operetta is that operetta you have a lot of dialogue, so you have to also be an actor. And in each country, they want to hear operetta in their own language, because instead of recitativo, there is dialogue. So they want to hear it, what it is all about.
Sure.
When you sing opera, you can sing Pagliacci in Italian in every country in the world, or Carmen in French everywhere you want to. But in operetta, that is the only thing that you cannot do in one language, because if you sing operetta in German, it has to be in German-speaking country, or in English-speaking, or
Yes.
in French or Italian. So this is technically a little bit difficult, because the singing comes on different vowels,
Oh, it must,
So
sure.
about that we will talk some other time, because this is a big, big theme, theme. And but it's a lot of fun. Yeah.
And in the 1930s, because you each had a Jewish mother,
Oh, yes.
you had to leave, you had to get out of...
Definitely. Not
Europe.
only we had to, but very much we had to.
Yes.
Yes, but we anyway would have, if we didn't have to, we would have. I mean, who would stand that horrible... You see, this is also a part of what it is in my soul. Because that pain, nobody can imagine. That pain, nobody can imagine what such a government can cause you, So this is a very sad subject. I don't know if we should talk about it now, but it is very sad. Yeah.
But it brought you to the United States.
Oh, yes. In 1938 we came, and Kiepura was singing his operatic debut at the Metropolitan in La Bohème. He had 30 curtain calls.
Really? In one performance?
In Bohème, yeah. In his debut, yeah. It was very big success. And I had nothing to do. But Miss Rogers, from Rogers and Hart, called one day, and they wanted me for a show, Higher and Higher, to play a scholarly girl, because the book really wanted Vera Zorina. She was a very wonderful, beautiful German dancer, and she was married to Balanchine.
Oh.
And she didn't like the whole story, so she didn't want to do it.
Now, they wanted you to be a scholarly or scullery? Scullery girl.
Maid.
Yes, okay.
Scullery girl, yes. Who washes the floor.
Yes.
That I can do very good. Yeah, really. And so they took me because they wanted somebody really European, and with a big accent. In those days, I had a big accent, Now it's much better. But, yes, and I made the show, and it had a huge, huge success in Boston. Very fantastic. In New York, it was less good. But the music was fabulous, absolutely fabulous. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to sing some of these music in the Neue Galerie on the 3rd of May and the 10th of May in Cafe Sebarsky.
So that will include some of the Richard Rodgers music?
Yeah, that's what I mean. I will sing some of the songs there. Beautiful, beautiful songs. And somehow never got popular.
Yeah.
But I will try to do my best.
My guest is Marta Eggerth, joining me here on WNYC. I'm David Garland. Marta Eggerth is my guest. She has been performing for appreciative audiences for over 80 years. She is 94 years old and joining me here live on WNYC. And after performing in the Richard Rodgers musical, you eventually found your way to Hollywood. Let's get to that story in a moment, but first some more music. Among the pieces on your double CD set that reprise recordings from throughout your career, there's one made in 1933. The composer is Paul Abraham, and it has this wonderful sort of Hawaiian flavor, Hawaiian music, very popular at that time. And then we'll hear something.
He also emigrated to America. Yeah.
We'll also hear another piece that displays your vocal acrobatics. So here, two more recordings from the 1930s by my guest, Marta Eggerth.